Sri Akal, everyone, and namaste. Thank you for joining us today, and thanks GCS for asking me to speak today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Shilpa Patel, and I am a lead clinical practice pharmacist at the Brighton Health and Wellbeing Centre. It's a GP practice in Brunswick Square in Brighton. As a pharmacist, I was asked to talk to you about my expertise in medication, and the medication I've chosen to speak about today is walking, because I believe walking is one of the best medications you can have. So I'm going to share a couple of stories with you. The first one is I run a lipid clinic, a cholesterol lowering clinic at the surgery. And I've been running this for about 4 or 5 years now. And one of my first patients, the type of patients that get sent to me are patients who have problems with the statins that they're on or any medication that they're using to lower cholesterol. This particular patient had been having lots of side effects from their medication, and they'd been to see the nurse, and they'd spoken to them about diet and exercise. And so by the time they came to me, we realized that diet wasn't working for them. They had tried and failed at improving their diet. They had also tried exercise. Some of it was they couldn't afford things, and some of it was they simply couldn't be bothered. So I was kind of stuck, and I thought, what can we do with this patient? So I said to them, do you know what, just go for a walk. Go for a walk, and let's see what happens going forward. And as I say, this was 4 or 5 years ago. And the patient started walking. I kept in touch with them by phone and email, and we realized if we kind of fast forward a few months, they started walking regularly, and they started increasing their speed. And the patient, what they found was it pushed them onto all sorts of other things. One of the things they told me was they used to drink a glass of wine every Friday because they were stressed by the end of the week. And going for these walks every day made them not need to have the glass of wine on a Friday. They also stopped eating their chocolates and their crisps and, things that were causing stress. They were so pleased that they didn't have to have the medication because the medication was causing so much side effects for them. So all in all, this new thing that just starting the walking was really helping them. And a year later, their cholesterol had come down, and it's well within limits. So we thought, do you know what, let's use this for other patients. So we've started actually prescribing walking as a remedy for a lot of patients who come to us with high cholesterol. It's kind of been a pilot scheme that we've been running, and it's actually working. The walking, gives you fresh air as well. It gives you higher levels of vitamin D. So there's a lot of things involved in that walking process, but we're finding that it's helping. We've started using it for hypertension as well. It helps for cardiovascular diseases. It helps for heart disease, strokes. It helps with your lungs, and it helps with diabetes, as well as other people have mentioned on here as well. My second story is a detox clinic that I run. So I help people come off of their antidepressants, their benzodiazepines, opioids, and sleeping tablets, long-term sleeping tablets, which can cause problems. And as part of this as well, I had a patient who I was helping them come off of their diazepam. And one of the things that the problem they were having was they were quite bored. They didn't have a lot of money. They weren't able to work because of this medication they were on. So they didn't have a lot of hobbies. They weren't able to socialize. And in this instance as well, I prescribed them walking as a remedy. And I firmly believe that the walking is what helped them to come off of their diazepam. It's taken about 2.5 years for them to come off of this medication. But starting walking, they live just by the beach, and so they've been incorporating this into their daily routine. And I've, on many occasions where they've called and wanted more medication, I've sent them out for a walk. Really sorry, guys.
Somebody wants to go for a walk.
He wants to go for a walk. Probably the reason why we walk so much is because we have this dog that drags us out on walks 3 times a day. But our family's been very involved in walks. For anyone who knows me well on here, we love walking a lot. So what I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about is, you know, how it boosts your endorphins, and that's been proven. There's a lot of evidence there showing it. So if you feel, you know, stressed, or if you feel worried, or if you're in a bad mood, going out for a walk combined with the fresh air and everything you've got around there can increase the level of endorphins that are released and give you a better mood. So as part of this, in our surgery, we've started prescribing, I don't know if some of you might have heard about social prescribing now. That's quite common in GP practices. We do health walks. We've got something called Deep Time, where we take our patients out to the Downs, and we go for walks there in groups. And this is actually carried on during COVID as well, because it's such an important part. So it can be done socially distanced. We do photography walks, and it's just showing how, and these are all NHS funded services, because they are so brilliant for you. Another thing that walking does is it strengthens your bones. It can help with joint stiffness. It can help with muscle pains. And a big thing is weight loss. So a lot of people use it for weight loss, and it's the kind of exercise that you can do without having to strain yourself and have to go for a run or join a gym or anything like that. It increases your metabolism, it burns your fat, and the best way to do that is by walking uphill. The other thing that it can help with is sleep. And what we find is, and there's a lot of research available to show that if you go for a walk in the evening, it will help you sleep better. But if you go for a walk straight after your evening meal, it helps with your digestion. So that also leads to kind of sleeping better at night. I'm actually from Norway, and in Norway it's a really big thing to go for long walks and that. And when we have our babies in Norway, it's part of the culture is to go for a walk with your baby for about 4 hours a day, and it's really common to see all these young mums with their buggies walking around, and it's something that we've kind of grown up with. And a funny story was when I had my baby here, I thought that was just the normal thing to do. So I'd be walking around with my baby all the time. And what we do at the end, once the baby's fallen asleep, we leave them outdoors in their pram. So I did the same with my baby, and I was living in London, and we had like an enclosed garden at the back. So I used to go for a really long walk and leave my baby outside in the buggy. And one day our neighbor actually came and knocked on the door and said, "Do you realize there's a baby in your back garden?" You know, but it was such an ingrown thing. We've grown up with it. This is what we do. We go for long walks. We leave the baby outside, and it's just part of our culture. I just finally wanted to tell you about kind of things that have helped us. We've been walking a lot during lockdown, and one of the things is we've got ourselves the walking sticks. And they really have been helping us because we've been going for some quite long walks and it's been muddy and things like that. So walking sticks are a really nice thing to use. And it also gives you some exercise on your arms at the same time. As I say, walking uphill is really good for weight loss. Get yourself a really good pair of shoes. Footwear is really important. So a lot of people get put off because they end up with hip problems, back problems, blisters, things like that. So if you've got some really good footwear, that helps. The other thing is make it part of your routine. So in our clinics, what works for our patients is the patients who use it as part of their routine. So go for an early morning walk or an evening walk, and if you've got it as a routine, it seems to be something that you're able to do regularly. And then if you miss 1 or 2, it doesn't matter because you know you've still done 3 or 4 a week. And the last thing is to log stuff or set yourself a challenge. So people who count their steps or set yourself a challenge even, Strava, and there's lots of different apps that you can use to help you log these kind of things. And I'm just going to read a quote and leave you with that. An early morning walk is a blessing for the whole day, and an evening walk helps you rest, then work, then play. So it's National Walk Day on the 7th of April, and I hope you'll all can use that as your initial motivation and join everyone in going for walks. Thank you for listening.